Space is a pretty big place. There's a whole universe of it, out there beyond our wildest imaginations. It makes sense then that access to space should be a universal thing. This was not the case 50 years ago at the beginning of the space race, but in the past decades, governments have opened up to the idea of space being for everyone. Commercial space companies are now not as rare as they used to be. NASA head officials make a big point of handing the torch over to the commercial companies and releasing space to commercial enterprise. Commercial companies are now becoming a great part of space exploration and science. In this video, we will be exploring these companies, how they are contributing to the space race, and their goals for the future. This is VOSPOT. The first satellite built by a non-government company was the Oscar I in 1961. This $63 satellite was produced by an amateur group of radio operators and launched alongside a NASA research satellite. The first commercial satellite was the Telstar 1, launched in 1962 on a Thor Delta rocket. The Telstar 1 was built through a collaboration between several private US and French companies alongside NASA. The Telstar 1 became the first satellite to transmit video across an entire ocean. In August of 1962, President John F. Kennedy signed the Communications Satellite Act, with the goal of partnering with private communication companies to make satellites more attainable. And 2 years later, the commercial satellite Senyk 3 became the first satellite to transmit live television feeds, sending video of the Tokyo Olympics to the United States. In 1975, Otrag, a German company, was the first private company to attempt the construction of a rocket, an incredibly ugly one. On September 9, 1982, the very first privately built rocket, the Conestoga 1, was finally launched by Space Services. 2 years later, President Ronald Reagan signed the Commercial Space Act of 1984 that commanded NASA to encourage private spaceflight. This was what really started private space enterprise. Today, NASA is a major supporter of the growth of commercial space companies. Some examples of this are the Commercial Lunar Lander for NASA's Artemis program. Another is the Commercial Crew program, which transports crew to the ISS from US soil. These programs and others are fueling space enterprise. There are a lot of private companies actively creating plans for the future of space. In the next few minutes, we'll be taking you on a journey through many of these companies. If you think we missed something that should be included on this list, please let us know in the comments below. We would really appreciate your kind input. The most notable amongst these businesses is a little California company, SpaceX. Haven't heard of it? Well, let's take a quick breeze through their history. SpaceX was born in 2002 to now billionaire entrepreneur and richest man in the world, Elon Musk. If that name doesn't ring a bell, he's that guy with the electric cars, tunnels, and puzzling ideas about the future of humanity. Yeah, that guy. SpaceX was founded under the belief that a future where humanity is out exploring the stars is fundamentally more exciting than one where we are not. SpaceX had a bumpy start with 5 of their Falcon 1 rockets, with 3 failing and the final 2 succeeding to orbit. SpaceX then retired that design and moved on to the Falcon 9. The Falcon 9 is capable of propulsively landing on a drone ship in the Atlantic Ocean and on land in Cape Canaveral. After many failures, SpaceX finally stuck a landing of the Falcon 9 first stage for the first time in December 5, 2015. Since then, it has become very common to see a Falcon 9 booster land itself on a bobbing pad in the middle of nowhere, so common that it's not truly appreciated anymore. In 2011, Elon Musk announced the Falcon Heavy, a Falcon 9 variant from 3 joined Falcon 9 first stages. With its 27 Merlin engines, the Falcon Heavy lives up to its name. On February 6, 2018, this beast took its first flight from Cape Canaveral, Florida. It successfully launched its payload, which was Elon Musk's personal Tesla Roadster, with the driver named Starman. Since then, there's been 2 more successful flights, with the next launch planned for 2021. The Falcon Heavy is the most powerful rocket in use, and the 3rd most powerful rocket in history so far. But Elon Musk and SpaceX have a new, much more powerful rocket in development. The entire rocket will be fully reusable, with the second stage being capable of landing on any solid landmass, including the rough surface of Mars. Since it was announced in 2012, the rocket had many name and design changes, from carbon fiber frame and having been called mightiest to Starship, to being made of stainless steel and having Raptor engines to power it all. In 2019, SpaceX began the construction of a line of Starship prototypes in a sub-delta peninsula near the border with Mexico and South Texas, a place called Boca Chica. After 4 prototype failures and 3 successful ones, serial number 8, or SN8, made perfect, beautiful history and flew to 8 miles, performed a belly flop maneuver, and made a perfectly positioned explosion on the landing pad in December of 2020. After many delays, SN9 successfully flew to 10 kilometers, but crashed in a real spectacular belly flop. SN10 is now waiting on the pad for its turn. SpaceX eventually plans to launch Starship from sea platforms in the ocean or a lake. The commercial use of this rocket for point-to-point transport on our home planet Earth will make traveling on a Starship as common as flying on an airliner. This would be the fastest transportation possible on our planet, next to hypothetical teleportation. SpaceX also plans to colonize the Moon, Mars, and beyond using the Starship. For this purpose, the rocket will have to refuel in Earth orbit before setting off for distant planets in the solar system. SpaceX was awarded the next contract phase of NASA's program Artemis, using Starship variant as a human landing system. Artemis is NASA's plan for going back to the Moon in 2024. In 2012, SpaceX's Cargo Dragon became the first commercial capsule to resupply the ISS. Since then, there have been 26 cargo resupply missions. In 2014, Elon Musk revealed the Crew Dragon, which can seat up to 7 people without any extra cargo. In September of 2014, NASA awarded Boeing and SpaceX the Commercial Crew Program to develop crew capsules capable of ferrying astronauts to and from the ISS. NASA selected 5 astronauts to assist Boeing's capsule development and 4 to assist SpaceX. It was a race between the 2 companies to send astronauts to the ISS. On March 2, 2019, SpaceX appeared to be winning the race with their launch and docking of an uncrewed Dragon 2 on their Falcon 9 called Demo 1. On April 20th of 2019, the capsule exploded during a static fire of the capsule's abort Super Draco thrusters. A new capsule was built for the Demo 2 mission with the astronauts Bob Bacon and Doug Hurley. On May 30th, 2020, this new capsule, named Endeavour, launched successfully from Kennedy Space Center and later docked, and in August splashed down triumphantly in the Atlantic Ocean. On November 15th, 2020, SpaceX's Falcon 9 successfully launched Mike Hoppins, Victor Glover, Senna Walker, and Suichi Noguchi in their crew capsule Resilience. Crew 1, as the launch was called, is officially the first fully operational, crewed, and of longer duration than the Demo 2. The crew is to stay on the ISS for 6 months. More crew missions are planned for later this year. Another commercial aspect of SpaceX is their Starlink internet service. As of the recording of this video, they have begun to offer beta testing for their growing global internet satellite constellation. Currently, SpaceX has launched more than 950 Starlink satellites into low Earth orbit with their Falcon 9 rockets. For full global internet coverage, SpaceX needs to launch over 12,000 Starlink satellites. Elon Musk eventually wants to have 42,000 satellites in orbit. The Falcon 9 can launch 60 satellites at a time, but when the Starship carries this payload, it could launch 400 satellites at a time. Currently, there is internet coverage for the northern United States, southern Canada, and in Europe. Starlink's goal is to provide global internet coverage to anyone, anywhere in the world. Can you guess this next commercial company? Okay, you're right, it's Blue Origin. Blue Origin was born in 2000 by Amazon founder and CEO Jeff Bezos with the goal of building a road to space so our children can build the future. Their motto is step by step, ferociously, which does explain their production speed. Over the years, in several places, Bezos mentioned the new Shepard. The rocket, named in honor of Alan Shepard, is designed to be only for suborbital flights with a maximum height of 63 miles. With this rocket, the company plans to launch humans into suborbit. Currently, Blue Origin has flown the new Shepard 14 times and has reused both the capsule and the booster 7 times. In January 2016, Blue Origin became the first company to reuse a booster. In 2015, Blue Origin began testing their new Shepard rocket that would use their BE-3 rocket engine. In September of 2016, Blue Origin revealed their rocket New Glenn, in honor of John Glenn, It is designed to take payloads of 99,208 pounds to low Earth orbit, much more than the Falcon 9 can. New Glenn would be powered by 7 of Blue Origin's BE-4 engines. The first stage of the rocket is also meant to be reusable, just like the new Shepard, while it is unclear if the second stage will be reusable. Blue Origin tends to be very secretive and often a little slow compared to SpaceX, who is developing the world's largest rocket out in the eyes of the public. On May 9, 2019, Jeff Bezos, at an event, revealed Blue Moon lunar lander. Also, Blue Origin became part of the national team alongside Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin, and Draper, as one of the contestants awarded the contract for building the HLS, the Human Landing System for NASA's Artemis program. Oh yeah, and there's also Boeing, but let's not get into them much besides their participation in NASA's Commercial Crew program. The Boeing Starliner, revealed in 2013, was designed to be able to fly on Falcon 9, but that was before SpaceX revealed the Crew Dragon in 2014. Boeing was awarded a portion of the Commercial Crew program at the same time as SpaceX. Boeing attempted to dock an uncrewed capsule with the ISS on December 20, 2019, but never reached that milestone. The capsule was forced to land back on Earth a few days later, December 22nd. NASA and Boeing together found 61 problems with the Starliner flight. Since then, Boeing has decided to retry another uncrewed flight in March of this year, and a crewed flight sometime this summer. Sierra Nevada Corporation, or SNC, was founded in 1963 in Reno, Texas by John Chisholm. It was later acquired by husband and wife Faith and Aaron Osman. At the time, they had only 400 employees. Since then, SNC has grown to a multi-billion-dollar company with 4,000 workers. On December 16, 2008, SNC acquired Space Dev, and through them is now developing their spacecraft called Dream Chaser. Dream Chaser is designed after NASA's HL-20 personal launch system, which was also derived from several experimental craft that NASA had worked on. Originally, the Dream Chaser space system was just intended to carry 2 to 7 astronauts to any destination in orbit, like the International Space Station. The Dream Chaser is launched vertically on a Vulcan Center rocket and landed on regular runways. An unpressurized compartment for Dream Chaser cargo versions called Shooting Star has been developed, adding an additional 10,000 pounds. Dream Chaser cargo version itself is capable of carrying 12,000 pounds. Sierra Nevada Corporation was also awarded a portion of the Phase 1 round of the Commercial Crew Development Program, along with Boeing and SpaceX. SNC lost to the other companies on September 16, 2014. Instead, NASA contracted the company as a cargo supplier to the ISS with the Dream Chaser under the Commercial Resupply Services. SNC has been awarded 6 ISS resupply missions, with the original plan of starting these missions sometime in 2021. However, Dream Chaser Demo 1 has been delayed to 2022. SNC is still planning for a crewed Dream Chaser sometime in the future. The United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, or UNOOSA, has selected the cargo version of Dream Chaser for its first space launch. This launch is intended to last for at least 2 weeks in free flight to provide space access to United Nations member states that have no space programs of their own. The proposed mission is to carry up to 35 different payloads, with hope of launching in 2024. SNC has been involved in several other launches, not just related to Dream Chaser. For instance, Sierra Nevada is the main contractor for Virgin Galactic Spaceship 2's Rocket Engine 2, which we will get to later. Incorporated in 2016 by Chris Kemp and Adam London, Astra is a launch vehicle company based in Alameda, California. Astra's goal is to provide the first daily delivery to space. This meaning that they plan to deliver the customer's satellites into orbit on a daily basis. Astra is categorized with other small satellite companies because their rockets are 38 feet tall and can take 55 to 331 pounds to sun-synchronous orbit. Their first test flights of the Rocket 1, all in 2018, are believed by the public to be launch failures, but Astra disagrees, saying that they were successful. Currently, Astra launches all its rockets from Alaska's Pacific Spaceport Complex, or PSCA. From 2018 to 2020, Astra was a contestant for the DARPA Launch Challenge as the stealth startup because they wanted to keep their involvement secret. The 3 other contestants in the DARPA Launch Challenge dropped out, and Astra failed to complete the competition's challenges when the Rocket 3 launch was scrubbed. In the end, the prize money of $12 million went unclaimed. Since then, Astra has launched the Rocket 3.1 several times and the Rocket 3.2 at least once. Astra are now more focused on small satellite launches. In the country of New Zealand in the year 2006, Peter Beck founded the company we all know today as Rocket Lab. On November 30th, 2009, Rocket Lab launched a TO-1, making it the first private company to launch an orbital rocket from the southern hemisphere. After Rocket Lab had received their first contract, they moved their headquarters from New Zealand to Long Beach, California, since Rocket Lab was receiving more funding and government interest in the US. On May 25, 2017, Rocket Lab successfully launched the maiden flight of the Electron rocket from their launch pad at Mahi, New Zealand. The Electron rocket normally has 2 stages, but in some cases will have 3. It is thrust into orbit by 9, mainly 3D printed Rutherford engines. It can take up to 330 pounds into sun-synchronous orbit. In 2018, Rocket Lab began to develop the reusability of their first stage technology after firmly stating that they would not attempt to reuse their Electron rocket. Eventually, in 2019, they decided to use a parachute method just like SpaceX originally attempted to do with their much larger first stages. Rocket Lab plans to use a helicopter to catch their rocket using the parachutes before it lands in the ocean. On November 19, 2020, the first stage of Rocket Lab's return to sender launch successfully parachuted into the Pacific Ocean in one piece. They did not attempt to catch it with a helicopter. Their major goal is to unlock the potential of space to benefit life on Earth. Virgin Galactic was founded in 2004 by Sir Richard Branson. Their goal is to be the space line for Earth. They want to focus on using space for good while giving the customer an experience of a lifetime. Virgin Galactic does not use rockets to take tourists to orbit, but instead they use planes. One mother craft called the White Knight 2 carries the suborbital craft called Spaceship 2 up 45,000 feet where Spaceship 2 is released. The craft then fires its rocket engine to go into suborbit. Spaceship 2 can carry 6 passengers and 2 pilots to its apogee of 68 miles in the lower thermosphere. In 2005, the Spaceship Company, or TSC, was also founded by Richard Branson through the Virgin Group and Burt Rutan through Scaled Composites. Virgin Galactic is TSC's main customer, and TSC manufactures both the White Knight 2 and the Spaceship 2. So far, 600 people have booked flights on Spaceship 2 for $250,000 per seat. In October 2010, Virgin Galactic accomplished their first of many glided flights of Spaceship 2. By February 2012, there have been 15 powered flights and 16 glide tests of Spaceship 2. On April 29, 2013, Virgin Galactic successfully completed their first rocket-powered flight. A tragic anomaly happened as a Spaceship 2 craft known as VSS Enterprise with crew was released from White Knight 2 and broke apart in midair. On December 13, 2018, a new Spaceship 2 called VSS Unity made its first suborbital flight for Virgin Galactic after detaching from White Knight 2. Since then, VSS Unity has made another crewed suborbital test flight. In May 2019, Virgin Galactic moved from Mojave Spaceport in California to Spaceport America in New Mexico, in the middle of nowhere. As of 2020, Virgin Galactic has not launched any paying passengers on the Spaceship 2. Eventually, Virgin Galactic wants also to operate a launching station in Europe. Virgin Galactic has gone through some ups and downs, but will eventually see their customers through the ride of their lives. Formed in 2017 by the Virgin Group, Virgin Orbit is another company that is attempting to open space for everyone. Building on the idea of launching people to space from planes, Virgin Orbit uses their 747 plane, called Cosmic Girl, to transport their rocket, called Launcher 1, to 35,000 feet, then angles upward towards the sky and launches the rocket into orbit. Launcher 1 can carry up to 1,100 pounds into sun-synchronous orbit after being air-launched. This method can achieve the same orbits as any other rocket. Launcher 1's first flight was on May 25, 2020. On January 17, 2020, Virgin Orbit completed its first successful orbital launch. In 2015, Tim Ellis and Jordan Noon founded Relativity Space, an American aerospace manufacturer for rockets in Long Beach, California. Relativity Space has a different approach to constructing their rockets, metal 3D printing. Relativity is planned to be the first company to launch a fully 3D printed rocket to space. One of the coolest parts of this way of manufacturing rockets is that the raw materials can be printed into a rocket within 60 days. Relativity claims that their rockets would use 100 times fewer parts than regular rockets. Relativity Space is developing an entirely 3D printed Rocket 1 called Terran. Terran has not yet been flown, but several tests have been conducted on its AN-1 engines. Also, Relativity Space is building a fully autonomous rocket factory called Stargate that would print and assemble their rockets without human intervention. Relativity Space plans to build humanity's multiplanetary future. 3D printable rockets will be a big asset for the Moon and Mars if you can build rockets out of raw materials. Terran 1 should be able to take up to 2,756 pounds to low Earth orbit. Relativity Space has not announced any plans to make the Terran 1 reusable. When Terran 1 finally flies, it will launch from Launch Complex 16 in Cape Canaveral, Florida. Made in Space is a space manufacturing company. They plan to pioneer sustainable space infrastructure to support their customers' missions, promote national security, and drive exploration intentions through space manufacturing. Made in Space was founded in 2010 by Aaron Kemmer, Jason Dunn, Mike Chen, and Michael Snyder to enable humanity to become a multiplanetary species. From July to September 2011, Made in Space performed 400 tests in NASA's Vomit Comets to prove that 3D printing and microgravity was a possibility. In September of 2014, Made in Space Zero-G printer was launched to the ISS on SpaceX's cargo resupply mission number 4 and successfully printed the first ever space-built object. In 2016, NASA teamed up with Made in Space to expand the idea of robotic space manufacturing, or Archinaut. Sometime in the future, Made in Space will build the first space recycler and plans to launch it to the ISS for use. In 2019, NASA awarded Made in Space the OSAM-2 satellite demo. OSAM-2 will demonstrate the construction and assembly of a satellite in space and is set to launch sometime after 2022. We agree with Made in Space that there is a future for space manufacturing in Earth orbit without human intervention. Axiom was founded in 2016 to expand human civilization into Earth orbit. Axiom Space is a human spaceflight research and manufacturing company. As of 2020, Axiom Space has only 60 employees. Axiom has announced a contract with SpaceX to fly astronauts on their Crew Dragon to the ISS for up to 10 days sometime in late 2021. In the future, Axiom will construct a private module to attach to the Harmony module on the ISS for private astronauts. Eventually, it will become its own space station once the ISS is retired and burned up upon re-entry to Earth. Commercial space companies are pushing space exploration and science to new limits. In their own creative ways, they are sparking massive public interest in space like NASA did with the Apollo 11 moon landing. Elon Musk's company SpaceX is getting the whole world into future space travel to the moon to Mars. And that goes for this channel. Our goal is to spread the news that a space age is upon us. We will not only talk about space flight and SpaceX, but we will also talk about Tesla and any other truly innovating company. If we missed a commercial company in this video, please leave a comment down below. This will help us further enhance our videos. While you're down there, do not forget to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you.